3.4 goes over graphing linear equations in standard form. Standard form of a linear equation is just in the form ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are all real numbers, and a and b are both non-zero numbers. When we look at these, we are sometimes going to be given equations that are y is equal to or x is equal to. When you have an equation that's y is equal to, that just means that your line is a horizontal line that goes through the y-axis at that number. If it's x is equal to a number, then it's just a vertical line that goes through your x-axis at that number. So if we look at example 1, we're graphing each of these linear functions. For a, we have y is equal to 4. So on our y-axis, we would find 4 and draw a horizontal line through 4 on the y-axis. And of course, it would be a straight line just through that 4 on the y-axis. For example B, we have x is equal to -2. So our x-axis is going to be the axis that our line goes through. And so this is going to be a vertical line through -2 on the x-axis. For example C, we have y is equal to -2.5. So we would go in between the -2 and the -3 and just do a horizontal line right through that y-axis at -2.5. For example D, we have x is equal to 5. So again, this one's just going to go through the x-axis. So it's going to be a vertical line right through 5 on the x-axis. With these equations that are in standard form, in order to graph these equations, instead of putting it into slope-intercept form, which we're normally looking at and graphing, we can use the X-intercept and the Y-intercept in order to graph 2 points to draw our line through. In order to find our X-intercept, we just plug in 0 for Y and solve for X, and it'll be the ordered pair something comma 0. To find our Y-intercept, it's the ordered pair 0 comma something, so we plug in 0 for X and solve for Y to get that 0 comma something. So if we look at example 2a, we're using the intercepts in order to graph the linear function 3x plus 4y is equal to 12. So to find our X-intercept, we're going to just plug in 0 for y, so y is going to equal 0. This is going to give us 3x plus 4 times 0 is equal to 12. That 4 times 0 cancels out, so it's just 3x is equal to 12. We divide each side by that 3, and x is equal to 4. Just because x is equal to 4 doesn't mean that gives you your ordered pair. The X-intercept is the ordered pair something comma 0. So in order to give your X-intercept, it's 4 comma 0, not x is equal to 4. So your X-intercept is that 4 comma 0. We also have to find our Y-intercept. So to find our Y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So x is equal to 0. This is going to give us 3 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 12. The 3 times 0 cancels out, so we just have 4y is equal to 12. We divide each side by that 4 and get that y is equal to 3. So again, this isn't just y is equal to 3, this is the ordered pair 0 comma 3. So now that we have both our x and our y-intercept, we'll plot those 2 points. So 4, 0 is on the x-axis at 4. And then that 0, 3 is at the y-axis, or on the y-axis at 3. So from here, we can just draw our line through these points. For example B, they give us 2x minus y is equal to 4. So to find our x-intercept, I'm just going to plug in 0 for y. So this is going to give me 2x minus 0 is equal to 4. This simplifies to be 2x is equal to 4. So I divide each side by that 2, and I get that x is equal to 2. So this is the ordered pair 2, 0. Next, I find my y-intercept. So this is going to give me x is equal to 0. So this is going to turn into 2 times 0 minus y is equal to 4. The 2 times 0 cancels out, so we just have negative y is equal to 4. We divide each side by that negative 1 to make y positive, and y is equal to negative 4. So that's the ordered pair 0, negative 4. From here, we're just going to plot the 2 points to 0 and 0, negative 4, and draw our line through them. So 2 zeros on our x-axis at 2, and then 0, negative 4 is on the y-axis at negative 4. So now that I have my 2 points, I can draw my line through those. Done. For our next example, we're given x plus 3y is equal to negative 9. So for this one, again, we're going to just find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. To find my x-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. So this is going to give me x plus 3 times 0 is equal to negative 9. That 3 times 0 is just 0, so we can cancel it out. And we're just going to have that x is equal to negative 9. So this is the ordered pair negative 9, 0. To find our y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. And this is going to give us 0 plus 3y is equal to negative 9. So then this simplifies to just be 3y is equal to negative 9. We divide each side by that 3 and get that y is equal to negative 3. So this is the ordered pair 0, negative 3. So our x-intercept is that negative 9, 0, and our y-intercept is at 0, negative 3. So our x-intercept is going to be at negative 9 on the x-axis. And then we have that 0, negative 3. So 0, negative 3 is on the y-axis at negative 3. So we just draw our line through these points. And then we're done. For example 3, it tells us that you are planning an awards banquet for your school. You need to rent tables to seat 180 people. Tables come in 2 sizes. Small tables seat 6 people. Large tables seat 10 people. The equation 6x plus 10y is equal to 180 models this situation, where x is the number of small tables and y is the number of large tables. A says to graph the equation and interpret the intercepts. So if we were to find the x and y intercept, we have the function 6x plus 10y is equal to 180. To find the x-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for y. So this is just going to be 6x plus 10 times 0 is equal to 180. The 10 times 0 cancels out, so 6x is equal to 180. We divide each side by the 6 and get that x is equal to 30. So that's the ordered pair 30, 0. To find the y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So this is just going to give us 6 times 0 plus 10y is equal to 180. The 6 times 0 cancels out, so 10y is equal to 180. We divide each side by the 10, so y is equal to 18. So that's the ordered pair, 0, 18. When you go to graph this, it may be easier to rearrange your terms for your x-intercept and your y-intercept, which means your y values they have to incorporate with your y-intercept, and your x values have to incorporate with your x-intercept. So if your y-intercept is 0, 18, and your x-intercept is 30, 0, we can probably go by 6s with these. So like if we do, this is 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and do the same thing on the bottom. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. So when we graph these, our y-intercept is at 0, 18, so that's going to be here, and then our x-intercept is 30, 0, so that's here. Now with these, you're not going to be dealing with a negative amount of tables or a negative amount of people, so our line would literally just go from point to point. So it would just connect these 2 points. Now it tells us to interpret the intercepts. Well, if you interpret the intercepts, the y is equal to 0 means that your x value is the only one that you're working with. So that 30 represents the amount of x's, which is the number of small tables. So when you have 0 large tables, you can have 30 small tables. If the 18 is your y-intercept, then you have 0 small tables and 18 large tables. For B, it tells you to find 4 possible solutions in the context of the problem. So we already found 2. A third could be, let's say we do 10 small tables. We would plug in 10 for x. So that would be 6 times 10 plus 10y is equal to 180. 6 times 10 is 60. We would just subtract the 60 from the 180. We would get 10y is equal to 120. We divide each side by the 10 and get y is equal to 12. So when you have 10 small tables, you'd have 12 large tables. Another one to do for the fourth one, let's say, I don't know, if we pick 10 large tables. Let's pick 10 large tables then. So if we pick 10 large tables, we would be plugging in the 10 for y. So that's going to be 6x plus 10 times 10 is equal to 180. Well, this doesn't work, because if you did 10 times 10, that's 100. It does work. If you did 20, then it wouldn't work. So 10 times 10 is 100. So that's 6x plus 100 is equal to 180. We would subtract the 100 from each side and get 6x is equal to 80. Divide each side by the 6. 6 goes into 8 one time with 2 left over. 6 goes into 20, not an even amount of times. So this would not necessarily work. You could do a different number, but you would have to take into consideration the fact that the 6 goes into 20 3 times evenly with so many left over. So that would have to be 14. that are small. So again, you got to be careful with these. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You want to try to make it to where it's the easiest possible and it's a full amount of tables or full amount of whatever you're working with. So for our last example, it tells us that we decide to rent tables from a different company. The situation can be modeled by the equation 4x plus 6y is equal to 180, where x is the number of small tables and y is the number of large tables. Graph the equation and interpret the intercepts. So we have the equation 4x plus 6y is equal to 180. We're going to find our x-intercept first. So we're going to plug in 0 for y. So this is going to give us 4x plus 6 times 0 is equal to 180. This then simplifies to just be 4x is equal to 180. We divide by 4. X is equal to 4 goes into 18 4 times with 2 left over. 4 goes into 25 times. So that's just the ordered pair 45, 0. To find your y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So that's just 4 times 0 plus 6y is equal to 180. The 4 times 0 cancels. We don't work with that. 6y is equal to 180. We divide each side by the 6. And we get that y is equal to 3, which 30, not 3, 30. So that is 0, 30. So this just means when there are 45 small tables, and 0 large tables. This one just means 0 small tables and 30 large tables. So I see here that my values are by 5s. I have 45, I have 30. So I could do each of these by 5. So this would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. This would be the next, then 40, then 50. Same thing with the bottom. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So if I was to graph these ordered pairs, I have 45, 0 is going to be on my x-axis, 45, 0, and then the 0, 30 is on my y-axis right here. And once again, you don't have an odd, or you don't have a negative number of tables or people that you're working with, so we would just connect these 2 points.